we've had a lot of
Good
stuff
morning,
going on.
YouTube. What's going
Family
on?
stuff.
I know.
And then
We've
I
been a
just
little
business.
MIA.
Just rolling
But
along.
we've been MIA
So
for a
we've
good
just
reason.
been kind of
We've had a lot of stuff
focusing on
going
getting that stuff
on.
done.
Family
Getting the
stuff.
business stuff done that needs to be done,
and then just
not letting that go because
just
we're trying to
rolling
get
along.
YouTube rolling
So
or whatever the
we've just
case
been
may be.
kind
So
of,
focusing on getting
we
that
wanna
stuff.
make
Sure we have a happy medium, which kind of brings me to the topic that I come to you all about today. And this topic is kind of like a spin-off from the Bible study that we had at church with Idra's sister, which was about it was a women's Bible study, or she does women's Bible study. And it's actually a really good Bible study. She hits on some really great topics. But just kind of long and short of it is we went to Bible study, and while we were at Bible study, they start talking about, like typical churches do, what do you do to get a husband, and how do you get a husband? So instantly, Idra and I are like kneeing and nudging each other, like, yeah, we're not looking for husbands. We're not looking for, that's not the direction that our lives are going in. So, we're sitting there, we're listening, and there are points. I will say this, that it was a lesson in that you can get something from everything if you listen long enough. So it was definitely a lesson in that. Listening and taking from what's going on or what the atmosphere is that you're in. Taking something from that and getting what is for you from it and leaving the rest behind. So that's kind of what type of scenario we were in. But after leaving, one of the major questions that was asked when we first got there was asked to Idra's mom, which is another reason why we've kind of been in MIA, because Idra's parents were here for an entire week. So we were kind of really trying to, right on the heels of Tracy's college visit, which was our last video. I think they came into town a few days later. So, she was around and trying to do stuff with her mom and so forth and so on. So the next, I guess, thing that happened at this meeting was Idra's sister, who runs the women's Bible study, asked her mother, who was with us or came to the Bible study as well, is it okay for Christian women to be sexy? And there were like 12 women in this room by the time we got there, which was a little bit late. That all were giving their different ideas of what you could do. And yes, you could be sexy, but your skirt still needs to be appropriate. No, you shouldn't be sexy. Some just kind of gave the look of no. It was weird to see people's minds go. Like, literally, you can hear the ticker in their head going like, should we answer this? Is it going to go back to pastor? Like, that type of scenario. So it brought me to the subject that really I've been thinking about, because another young lady at our church had reached out to me, like, it's been months and we recently saw her. So should she be watching this vlog, I apologize now. I'm sorry that I've not followed up with you. Life has just been super, super hectic. She reached out to me literally in the middle of church service and said, I think that your tattoos and you being a Christian and in church having tattoos would be such a great story. I'm a writer. She actually just finished writing a book, and I'll put her little card up somewhere. It should be popping up right now. If you want to go check out her book. But she's an awesome person, very nice. Had never met her before, and she was, just looking at the tattoos on my arm, and she said, I want to write something about Christians in the church and tattoos, and I think your story would be one that would be interesting. And I never had anybody honest truth right here. This will be insert truth moment. I've never had someone come up to me and say, I'd like to write about you, or I'm interested in something about you that I'd like to write about. So I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know if she was for real. I didn't know if she was just another person, just because we at church don't mean women aren't trying to holler at you. Not that I'm like so fine that everybody is trying to hit on me, but it's happened. So when she gave me her card and was talking to me, I instantly introduced her to Idra and gave the card to Idra because I don't want to be doing anything or talking to anyone that puts Idra at a deficit, or that later on someone comes up to her and says, oh yeah, I was talking to your wife and she said ABCEDFG and she's completely blindsided. So I gave that information to her, and that was it. I thought about it again because we ran into her somewhere, and then life got a hold of me. But we ran into her again lately at church, and the first thing she said was, I'm still writing that I'm still doing that documentary, as well as I just finished my book and published my book. And I'm like, instantly bubble pops up like, moment missed. You missed that moment. And I think the blessing of it all is that I really didn't miss the moment because she's still trying to do the project. But just think, like, if I had continued to let myself get in the way, try to reach out to her sometime this week and say, hey, I am interested. I apologize for kind of letting the time lapse, but what type of project is it that you're trying to do, or what is it that you would like to know from me? Is it just that you want to talk to me to get my feedback about how I feel about the church and being tattooed, whatever? So anyway, all of that to say, when we were in the Bible study, Idra's mom, they were saying something about young adults, and a person came to the church and she had on like something that looked like she was going to the club. She clearly was a new visitor. And when she came to the church, somebody pulled her aside and said, oh, you can't come into church. And everybody in the room kind of thought it was funny. Oh, they told her she couldn't come into church. And Idra and I are looking at each other like, and Idra is like either typed in her phone or said to me later, like, how do they know how God presented itself that day? And I had like this moment, because that really is how we have to think about life as Christians, as human beings living on this earth. God has presented itself in so many facets to so many different people. I'm sure when Jesus met the woman at the well, he didn't look to her like someone who was coming to save her and save the entire world. Nor for her did she feel like she looked like someone worth being saved. So we have to be very diligent about what we're saying to people and how we're addressing people, because the argument was, well, not argument, but the discussion was, what if that's all that she had to come to church in that day? And one of the women that Idra and I love, her and her husband, she comes to family events. She said, oh, I know that she had something else to wear. But she was a new visitor. How do you know that she had something else? Maybe she had something else, but what she had to her wasn't church appropriate. So my question today, or the purpose of this video, is, what is church appropriate? What, in your opinion, do you guys think is how you should come presentable in the sanctuary? Are jeans appropriate? Are tattoos appropriate? Because one of the comments Idra's mom made was, these kids today don't really know because at home they have parents who have tattoos and are doing all different types of things. And I made the point to say, like, not the worst thing that I could ever do would be disagree with my mother-in-law, right? So I had to first say, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think in some instances it is very true that where the children come from is a representation of the life that they live. But when it comes to being you pointing out a certain people, oh, because they have parents at home that have tattoos. Well, I'm a parent at home that's covered in tattoos. Clearly, you all can see them when we do our videos. You can see them now. However, if you saw my daughter, even though she does have one tattoo on her shoulder, she doesn't go out looking crazy. If we're going to church, she goes to church looking presentable. And even if she's putting on something that maybe we feel might be, what would be the word, subjective, or, for someone to say something about what she has on, we say, no, maybe, that's not the best. Put a cardigan on if it's, a strapless dress. Or, no, that's a little too short if it's like a shirt dress. Maybe you should put some leggings on underneath it. We're going to church. We're not going out to go get lunch. And she'll change. But I would say, 9 times out of 10, we don't have to say any of that. One, Tracy is so, like, particular about her body and she doesn't like people seeing everything. That's not to say that she's not a teenager. Today, she wore an above the knee little tank dress, but she had a cardigan over it. I said to her, Tracy, that's a little bit short. You need to put some little short shorts underneath it. She went and immediately, no question, no hem, no haw, put some shorts underneath it. So all of that, again, to say, what is appropriate? When going to church, is there a level of being appropriate when going in and addressing God and looking for a word? Because really, at the end of the day, I'm sure we all try to put on our Sunday's best. What to you is acceptable for being in church? Is it that you have to be dressed to the nine and, as I said, Sunday's best? Or is it something else? Is it something different? Are you just going as you are? Are you in a church that's an as you are type of church? I know there are a lot of those churches out there now that are more come as you are and we don't judge and whatever. And our church is supposed to be like that. It's almost like part of their mantra that you're welcome to come as you are, and God's not looking at where you've been and what you got on. He's looking for your heart. But in this case, we clearly dropped the ball, and we dropped the ball to some who thought it was okay that we dropped the ball. So I'd like to hear what your thoughts are, what your perception is, what you think. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome as always. We love you. Stick around because I think Ida's going to do a video later. I have no idea what she's going to be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be interesting. And thanks for checking us out again. As you always know, we are 2Ps in this vlog. Please make sure that you're loving, laughing, and learning every single day. Most importantly, come back and see my beautiful wife. She's sitting that way. So my beautiful wife in the next video. And make sure that you're liking, thumbs up the videos. If you're not subscribed, please make sure that you're subscribing to the videos. We still are pressing towards the mark of 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to set these goals for ourselves, not because we're trying to get something, just because I think that that's what life is about. It makes it more fun if you have a purpose for why you're doing it. So for us, we're setting goals. We want to have a certain amount of videos up. We want to be putting up a certain type of content. And so, yeah, help us out. Like our videos. Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. And we'll see you soon.
Hey.